Asani Samuels stays hot, and the men's soccer team stays perfect on the Dembski. The women's soccer team back on the Dembski as well, trying to get back in the win column. All that and more next here on #GriffSports. Welcome back to yet another exciting week of #GriffSports. I'm Joe Rutigliano, and I'm joined by Tori Nappo.
It was another big week for Griff Sports out here on campus. We'll have all the highlights, and we'll be joined in studio by the head coach of the women's soccer team, Jim Wendling, as we preview this week's game of the week.
Before we get to our guests, we'll lead it off with last week's game of the week as the men's soccer team took on the University of Buffalo in a highly anticipated crosstown matchup with the Bulls. Another low-scoring affair for the Griffs, as defense would be the key in this game. The lone Griffs goal would come in the 38th minute from none other than Asani Samuels. A nice ball from Jake Montante to Lucian Prize would set up Samuels for the tally, which would give the Griffs the lead. The back four for the Griffs, along with goalkeeper Andrew Coughlin, would hold strong, keeping UB off the board for the team's second shutout of the year.
The Valley Griffs spent their weekend in St. Louis at the Billiken Invitational. And unfortunately for the Griffs, they were unable to pick up their first victory of the season. The Griffs were swept by Air Force, came up on the short end of a 3-1 match against St. Louis, and fell 5 games to Omaha. Junior setter Grace Stryker had 39 assists in the final match of the weekend.
Griffs golf finished 10th overall in the Leo Keenan Invitational. Junior Brendan Polson paced the squad with a 72 on the final day.
Finally, the women's soccer team played host to Cleveland State and Binghamton over the weekend. They dropped Friday night's affair 4-0 in Cleveland State before falling 2-0 to Binghamton on Sunday. And Joe, take a look at this goal for Cleveland State. It appears to go right off the hand of Sabrina Abrams as part of a strong second half.
Yeah, and let's just take a look right here. I know I was at the game. The corner comes in, and oh, there we go. Ball boop, boop, and looking closely, bang! And there's a really unhappy fan. I think his name was my name. I was very upset about this. Everybody in the stand saw it. The officials missed it, as you see right there. Boop! And really unfortunate turn of events. That would actually essentially doom the Griffs, as they would have to play catch-up and be unable to keep Cleveland State off the board. The Griffs fall to 1-7 on the season.
So our game of the week this week is women's soccer versus Robert Morris. Saturday at 1 p.m., the Colonials are struggling just as the Griffs are, having only one win of the season. Our very own Kyle Ferreira is in the Studio B with head coach of the Griffs, Jim Wendling.
Kyle Ferreira in Studio B with the head coach of the women's soccer team, Jim Wendling. And Coach, our game of the week this week is your game against Robert Morris. And going into that game, your team has 1 win on the season. And, you know, that record might not be the most positive, but what are you seeing that you can take as positives heading into this game this weekend?
The girls, really work hard in practice, and they play some really good soccer in practice. We just need to be able to carry that over into game situations. Our back defensive line has actually played pretty well, even though I know they've given up a few goals, but they've been playing pretty solid and keeping a lot of goals out of the net. We just need some more midfield and forwards getting to the attack and scoring goals. You
mentioned the back line, and then even behind them, we had Bridget on our show last week. Can you speak to the job she's doing replacing Meg Tock in net?
Well, it's been really Bridge and Kaylee DeFranks, and they've had a solid year. A couple of goals went in that I think maybe they should be saving, but on the other hand, there's some great saves that they both have made. Bridge made a great save in California on a breakaway. She made a couple great saves in a most recent game. Kaylee made a killer save in a recent game she played in. So, more consistency would be great out of both of them, but overall I'm pleased.
And you mentioned you're looking for improvement on the other side of the field offensively. Is there anybody specifically who you're looking to step up and kind of lead you guys to get the ball in net more?
We're relying on Mallory. She's one of the fastest girls on the team. I know she can score. She scores all the time in practice. She just, needs to make that happen in games.
And of course, the game against Robert Morris, that's the one we're featuring. What challenges do they present that you're kind of looking at and want to prepare your girls for?
They're a hard-working team. They play a 4-3-3, which we face a lot of, so we'll probably match that same system in a 4-3-3. They're kind of like us. They play hard. They try to connect passes when they can. They don't score a lot. So if we can get a goal early in that game and maybe put them on their back foot, I think that would help our confidence.
What kind of fan support are you hoping for this weekend?
Boy, we had a great fan support in our last game, at home game. Winning would get us more fans. It'd be nice to have a lot of fans out there because it does help the girls, play harder and play better.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. You're watching #Griff Sports. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Kyle. All right.
And we are back. Kyle Ferrara at the desk, and that was a great interview with Coach also.
Thanks.
And we have Kyle here. We're going to talk about the women's volleyball team, and the Volley Griffs have struggled as of late. They're 0-9. They haven't quite been able to put it together. Kyle, what's going on right now with the Volley Griffs?
Well, 0-9 truly looks awful, but in talking with Coach, this isn't a team that she thinks is reflective of an 0-9 record. Truthfully, she told me she expected 3 to 4 wins out of non-conference play. They got none, but the reason for that is that these teams that are playing, they were bigger, they were quicker, and they forced the Griffs out of their own system. They weren't really able to establish their middles like they had hoped, and hopefully going into MAC play, that should change.
And so, as we head towards MAC play, what's going to be the key as far as game plan is concerned? Obviously, you said, these aren't going to be the bigger teams that they're going to be playing, but they're going to be teams tough nonetheless because it is a gauntlet in the MAC as far as volleyball is concerned. What's going to be the key as far as the game plan is concerned for Kathy Hummel's squad?
Yeah, you're right. The MAC's very competitive, and Coach Hummel thinks that this is going to be a team that jumps back up into the top 4 where they're much more used to being as opposed to about a 500 team last year. The key to do that, to answer your question, is establishing those middles. They are more athletic at the middle hitter position than they have been in quite some time, which I was at first surprised to hear considering the skill level of your Roxanne Hernandez, Sam Good, but with Lauren Siebert, who can really establish herself now her junior year, and Jackie Malusa moving over to play middle after she was right side and outside, splitting time at those 2 positions last year, they are going to be able to, as long as their passing is good, which is key for any volleyball team, establish those two hitters. They've got Kristen Bendy, they've got Rachel Klein, and they've got Katie Tyler as well. And play off those 5, they should be good to go.
Now, what can we expect? I mean, who's going to be really the key offensively, defensively for the Griffs as we head towards MAC play? Who's going to really anchor the Griffs in MAC play?
Well, there's 2 keys. One, Grace Stryker, your setter. That's your quarterback out on a volleyball court. She split time with Sid Palka last year, and this was really Sydney Palka's team. It's Grace's now, and she's looked okay. She doesn't look out of place so far during non-conference play, but they're still waiting for her to really take over and take control. That's going to be a key because once she realizes this is her team, the sky's the limit for her. The other key, like we talked about with the middles, it's Lauren Siebert. She's their most dangerous player. She's their most athletic hitter. And she's got a real connection with Grace, too. This is their 4th year playing together because they played club together before coming to Canisius. So if Grace takes the reins, if she takes control, and they can really feed the ball in the middle to Lauren Siebert, that's the key for this offense. And you know, your defense is going to come. Emily Litwin is a good libero. You know, they've got other good defensive specialists in Kristen Plukas and Olivia Krasnowski. And they should be in good shape as we approach MAC play here.
So what's your prediction for the Griffs volleyball team? Where do they fall at the end of MAC play?
Well, Coach thinks they're going to jump back up into the top 4. That's tough to say still. You know, Fairfield's a really dangerous team. There's other schools that we're going to have to see them actually play and compete with before we can necessarily believe it. But remember, this is a Disney year, so everybody's making it.
Right.
And even if they finish 5th, 6th in regular season play, this is a team by the end of the year that should be playing much, much better than they are now and could make a run.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Kyle. Always nice to have you.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm on the show every week.
That's
and now,
so funny.
You know, I don't know
is
why.
that how it works?
I have no idea.
Interesting. Kyle's baby, #Griff Sports, growing up right in front of his eyes. We'll be right back. Tori will be at the desk, and Tori will be in Studio B. We're going to have a little game for you. Stay right there.
There was one day that we had just done the cardiovascular unit, you know, in class that day. And then right after class, I went over to the Vascular Institute, volunteered, you know, put the scrubs on. And one of the doctors asked me if I wanted to see an open heart surgery. And so I said, yeah, really? Sure.
I came into Canisius as obviously as a freshman, not really sure what I wanted to do. I ended up taking a digital media arts class, and that really just kind of jump-started, you know, my career.
And I think being where we are in the city and in the world with the medical campus that we have here is really an opportunity that I wouldn't have anywhere else.
It's more than just academics. Meet different people. Go out and do things. There's so much more to college. It's an experience.
I instantly fell in love with doing video work, graphic design. I started pursuing more and more opportunities in the school, whether it was doing admissions videos on the sides. I did a couple videos for alumni relations, the president of the college, and then I actually got noticed last year, and they sent me over to the Philippines to create a feature-length documentary.
I lived with a host family while I took classes in Spanish with Spanish professors at the University of Oviedo, and I was a Spaniard for a semester, and it was the best decision I made as a college student.
Well, welcome back to Hashtag Griff Sports, and it's time for the men's soccer edition of Over Under. Now, we did Over Under a little bit last year, and we're going to make it a little bit more of a game this year. So Tori is going to introduce the statistics to us, the questions, and CJ Gates, our men's soccer beat reporter, will be with me. He and I are going to debate a little bit. So I'm going to throw it over to Tori, and Tori, why don't you introduce our first topic?
Thank you very much, Joe. Asani Samuels is our first topic. He connected on his third goal of the season on Sunday's win. He's the only Griff to score more than once this season. Over under 9 goals this season, Asani's going to have 9.
All right, so I'll let you lead.
All right. Well, his career high is 4 goals, but I was talking to Coach McGrain about the system that the Griffs are employing this season, and it's a little different. Asani's not seeing as much of the ball, but when he is seeing the ball, he's getting greater chances on net. So he's got 3 goals already, tied his output for last season, so he's poised to make a run, I'd say.
So over or under?
I would say over 9 goals.
9 goals is a lot of goals. I like what he's doing with the ball. You're right. He's not seeing a lot of the ball at the top. He's kind of being more, instead of being a channel to which they score goals, he's actually being more of the weapon. So I like to see I like what they've been doing with him as far as strategically. I'm gonna say under. 11's a lot of goals, or I'm sorry, not 9's a lot of goals. I apologize. 9's a lot of goals. However, I just think that spreading around is a little bit better. I don't think a lot less than 9. I'm thinking 7 or 8 for Asani. So Tori, you're up.
Okay. So next over under question. You think the Griffs are going to have 11 total wins this season?
You want to start this one?
Yeah. I think that this is absolutely feasible. The way that they've been playing thus far, their 2 losses were the first 2 games of the season, UC Davis and Butler. Honestly, this squad has it going on right now. Their back 4 and Andrew Coughlin have been spectacular. I like what I'm seeing. I'm a former goalkeeper myself, and Andrew Coughlin is the best thing since sliced bread. So I'm going to say that this team goes over 11 wins.
I agree. I think they'll do good. They've already got 3 wins. They're looking good heading into conference play, which starts in a couple games. They've got the offense is clicking. Mandola, all the freshmen that they've introduced this season. There's six freshmen who have started this season who didn't play last year for the Griffs, and they've got it going on, like you said.
I like to hear that. All right. What's up next, Tori?
Okay, well, this year the team has really stressed the importance of going undefeated at home. Over under, there's a 99% chance that the Griffs are going to win all at home this year.
So I'll let you lead. Do you think they go undefeated or no?
I don't think they'll go undefeated at home. I think there'll be a game where they'll maybe tie or maybe they'll lose. I don't think they'll win every single home game. They do avoid the top 2 teams in the conference right now. They get to play them on the road, but they do face one of the top 3 teams in the MAC right now at home. And, things happen. You don't always win every single game.
Well, in fairness, a tie counts. It isn't a loss.
Okay.
So
I still
do you think that they're going to lose at home, I guess is more of the question.
I'll still stick with yes.
So you think that they are?
I think they'll lose at home.
Well, with what C Block's been doing at men's soccer games and with what men's soccer has been doing at men's soccer games.
Sure.
Shameless plug. I'm going with yes, that they will go undefeated at home, and I will be on my best game getting in the official's ear to make sure that they do that.
Wouldn't want any more handball goals to be scored.
No more handball goals after Friday night's affair. All right, thanks. Tori, what else?
Okay, and finally, last question. It's a fun one. Over and under 100 people know the difference between Jon Cary, the current United States Secretary of State, and Jon Cary, the senior men's soccer player.
Can I take the lead on this
Absolutely.
one? I'm going to say less. I'm going to say I'm definitely under. I know who Jon Cary is, and I know how you spell the difference, but I'm not so sure everybody else does. What do you think?
I agree. When I was here, freshman year, I wasn't big on, Canisius athletics, and I probably couldn't tell the difference between Jon Cary and the other Jon Cary.
Yeah, I'm sure if we saw Jon Cary, we'd say, "Hey, Jon Cary in the hall," and then somebody would be like, "Where? That's not Jon Cary." Well, they'd be wrong. So that's about it. Thanks, CJ, for coming to the desk. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Tori's going to be back at the desk. We're going to have our Golden Performer of the Week as well as our top play. Stay right there.
There was one day that we had just done the cardiovascular unit, in class that day. And then right after class, I went over to the Vascular Institute, volunteered, put the scrubs on. And one of the doctors asked me if I wanted to see an open heart surgery. And so I said, yeah,
really?
sure.
I came into Canisius as a, obviously as a freshman, not really sure what I wanted to do. I ended up taking a digital media arts class, and that really just kind of jump-started, my career.
And I think being where we are in the city and in the world with the medical campus that we have here is really an opportunity that I wouldn't have anywhere else.
It's more than just academics. Meet different people. Go out and do things. There's so much more to college. It's an experience.
I instantly fell in love with doing video work, graphic design. I started pursuing more and more opportunities in the school, whether it was doing admissions videos on the sides. I did a couple videos for alumni relations, the president of the college, and then I actually got noticed last year, and they sent me over to the Philippines to create a feature-length documentary.
I lived with a host family while I took classes in Spanish with Spanish professors at the University of Oviedo, and I was a Spaniard for a semester, and it was the best decision I made as a college student.
And welcome back to #Griff Sports, and now it is time for our Golden Performer of the Week. Tori, what do we have?
This week's Golden Performer is Lauren Siebert, who hit just a shade under 42% in the Volley Griff's loss to St. Louis.
So congratulations to Lauren as you take a look at the graphic there. Tough weekend for the Volley Griffs, but obviously a star in the making for MAC play, hopefully. And our top play of the week comes from the men's soccer team and the guy who's pretty much stolen our show, the one and only Asani Samuels, as he puts the ball in the back of the net to give the Griffs the 1-0 victory, if you will, over UB. And that's what I'm talking about. Nothing gets me more fired up than seeing a Griffs win. So
I like the flip.
Yeah,
I thought the flip was better than the goal.
He has a signature celebration. We got to love that. Now, it is a special day here at #Griff Sports. Tori has turned 21 today, so happy birthday to Tori. Drink responsibly. That is all for us here at #Griff Sports. We'll see you guys next week right here. For Tori Nappo, I'm Joe Rutigliano. We'll see you next week.
See ya.